Well, guys, the Wolts have been wanting a female James Bond for a while. The very, very few people that actually want it, but in reality, it's never going to happen. Barbara Broccoli has already come out and said that a female James Bond will never, ever happen. She owns the rights to James Bond. But she also did say that James Bond doesn't necessarily always have to be white, even though in the book he was actually made white. But she did say James Bond could be of another race. Now we actually do have a James Bond girl, a Bond girl, coming out and saying, nah, James Bond should never, ever be a woman. She makes the example of Mary Poppins. And now if you've seen Mary Poppins, you know that Mary Poppins is a woman. And nobody in their right mind can imagine Mary Poppins as a man. Wouldn't work. Another good example, Charlie's Angels. Mm-hmm. If you've seen the TV show, you've seen the movies, Charlie's Angels are always women. There's no calls for Charlie's Angels to turn into men. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
It would not work out.
Yeah, it's like Wonder Woman is always a woman. Can you change it into Wonder Man?
No, I don't think I want to see a man in basically a Speedo running around. That definitely would not work. But I'm glad she's actually coming out here. Her name is Gemma Arrington, coming out and saying that she is not for the gender swapping of James Bond. Now, she was in Quantum of Solace with Daniel Craig as James Bond. Now he's actually no longer going to be James Bond anymore. And people are wondering who's going to be the next James Bond. I personally think it should be Henry Cavill be the next James Bond, but I don't know if he's actually going to be doing that or not. But no, women, you can't be James Bond. I mean, the character is a man. What are you going to do? Change the name to Jane Bond? Remember in the last James Bond movie, they were kind of like playing around with, since James Bond is retired, mm-hmm. They gave Lashana Lynch's character his 007 in there. I was like, that don't really work. And I believe they did that on purpose a little bit. But she was never James Bond. She was just another agent, and she got his agent number.
Yeah, it's not looking down on woman or man, but in James Bond, all the franchise on James Bond is man, and
as it should be.
It's already a classic established character, and if it's classic, just stay classic.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted a female character, do this. Go out there and create a new character.
Yes.
That's all you need to do. Plus, there's already lots of female characters out there already. I mean, there's Lara Croft, Tomb Raider out there already. People are actually trashing that anime show. It's not good. There's other female characters out there.
Yes, and you bring up a good point of Lara Croft. I really like her character, and I really love the game. And I wouldn't want her to be turned into a guy character.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. I mean, the character's name is Lara Croft.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't Larry Croft.
No.
So it's definitely not going to work. But I don't think it's not going to happen. I mean, Barbara Broccoli has been pretty clear, even though I haven't heard too much lately about, the push to make James Bond of a woman. It's never going to happen, in my opinion. But I've heard people say they want like a black man to be James Bond. Personally, I would just say leave him white. But it wouldn't be the end of the world if they actually made James Bond black. Okay, but I believe he should be white because he's a white man in the books. One of my criticisms of Daniel Craig was that he has fair-skinned hair. And James Bond doesn't have light hair. James Bond's supposed to have dark hair. And every man that's played on James Bond has had dark hair. And he comes out with, like this almost blondish like hair. And he took some criticism for that too. And he's a man, mm-hmm. So, but I really don't want to see James Bond as a woman. First of all, I don't think anybody would go see it. when you're messing with something like that, nobody's going to see it. And these woke people crying about it, they're not going to go see it either.
Yeah, James Bond is a ladies' man. When it comes to woman being a James Bond, so woman is going to.
Oh God, I just thought something. Then if you're gonna make James Bond a woman, that would be the end of Bond girls then, unless you're gonna make all of them lesbians or something like that.
So if James Bond is going to be a woman, all guys will be on her, or
I don't know. Maybe they'll come out with Bond men or something. I don't know. It wouldn't make any sense. It'll be a complete and utter flop. Nobody would actually go out there and watch it at all. But we do need a new James Bond. I mean, Henry Cavill, I think he would be a really, really good James Bond. He has the look of James Bond to me. But I don't know what direction they're actually going in. Actually, didn't they pick a new James Bond? I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
Maybe they haven't yet. But I believe it should be Henry Cavill. Man, he's at a good age. He's 41 years old. I believe when Pierce Brosnan actually became James Bond, I believe he was around 40 or 41 when he did GoldenEye. Man, that's a really good James Bond movie.
The best James Bond is Sean Connery.
Yeah, a lot of people like Sean Connery a lot. But I really do like GoldenEye. I love that movie. That movie is very good. But all of the James Bonds, they were all white men. They've always been British too, by the way. I don't think James Bond necessarily needs to be British because, there's been American actors that come out with British accents too. But pretty much all of the James Bonds have either been Scottish or English actors. So I believe Sean Connery is actually Scottish. I think he's Scottish. So anything else you want to add to this before we wrap it up?
Nah.
Well, there you have it, man. I completely agree with her when she says that James Bond should not be a woman. I completely agree with that. And of course, Daniel Craig, he's kind of woke. So he played James Bond just recently. So not going to pay any attention to what he actually has to say on this. So going to leave it right there, guys. We'll be back on Monday with another video. Till then, be safe.
Goodbye.